Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you everybody for all the support on the last few videos, it's been amazing. Thank you all for the subscribers and the views. It's definitely a lot more than I ever thought it would have happened, and I can never thank you guys enough for that. Also, one more thing before I start is, in this Minecraft gameplay I actually added a shader. So let me know what you guys think about this shader. I think it looks pretty nice. Let me know if you like it or if you want me to switch it or anything. Alright, but that's enough of that. Let's go straight into what you guys clicked on this video for. Am I the asshole for calling a HVAC tech instead of letting my girlfriend quote unquote repair it? I, 29 male, am a musician, and my girlfriend, 28 female, is a software engineer. She studied electrical engineering before switching into software, and ever since then she kind of thinks she knows everything about anything remotely technical. We've been having issues with the mini split heat pump system in the house she owns. It stopped heating properly and was throwing error codes. She immediately wanted to open the unit herself and take a look inside. I wasn't comfortable with that because HVAC systems deal with high voltages and refrigerant, and if something goes wrong, you're looking at a huge repair bill. So I called a professional HVAC tech, a friend of a friend, to come check it out. When the tech came, he took the unit apart, poked around for a bit, and said the issue was probably a refrigerant leak somewhere in the system and that the control board was acting up because of it. He also said that the unit is old and is no longer supported by the manufacturer, so the replacement parts aren't really available, and that we should plan to replace it soon. He did not give any pressure tests or anything like that, he just gave a visual inspection and some quick checks and left it at that. After he left, my girlfriend insisted he leave the control board exposed and not close the unit completely because she wanted to inspect it herself. She went online, found some pirated service manuals and board schematics, and started testing the board with a multimeter. She claimed the tech leak theory made no sense because if the refrigerant was actually leaking, replacing an electrical component would not magically make the system heat up again. She ended up identifying a failed electrolytic capacitor on the control board and ordered a replacement one. When it arrived, she soldered it in herself. The system turned back on and now is heating like normal. Now she's acting like this proves that the HVAC guy was completely wrong and that I was wrong for calling him in the first place. She's also insisting that I pay for the HVAC visit since he misdiagnosed it, even though she owns the house and still benefited from having someone come out and take a look. I'm still uneasy about it. Just because it works now doesn't mean it actually fixed long term. To me, this feels like forcing a failing system to limp along instead of addressing the real issue. She's not a HVAC tech or a licensed electrician. She works on computers all day. She's also very girly and normally super careful about her appearance, like she freaks out about breaking a nail or ruining her manicure, which makes it even harder for me to take her seriously when she is suddenly elbow deep in wiring and soldering irons. Now she's mad at me for not trusting her competence and says I do not respect her technical background. I feel like I'm just being cautious about safety and reliability. Oh man, this guy, I don't even know where to start. This guy is like all over the place. One of the things that definitely stuck out to me in the story was the fact that he starts talking about how she cares about her appearance so much, or how she's like a girly girl and she worries about things like that. I don't really know what that has to do with anything because she can be a girly girl, but she can also be pretty knowledgeable about tech related activities. She can know about these tech things. I mean, she even went to college about it. She took electrical engineering courses. I think she's more than qualified. So I don't know why that really doesn't make sense to bring up as a point, but that's just like something on the side. I don't know why he brought that up. Another big thing is she told him that she could take a look at it and she could fix it. Or she didn't say she could fix it, but she wanted to take a look at it before the tech came and everything, right? I think he should have definitely respected those wishes. Like he should have let her initially take the first look and do her own diagnosis and then call the tech if he still needed it. They could have compromised on that. And that's also besides the point because she did end up fixing it. Like I don't know why he's not happy because she saved them so much money. And it seems like she knew what she was talking about because she was talking about how the HVAC tech misdiagnosed it and everything, and that she figured out what the real issue is and everything. So it sounds to me like it really was misdiagnosed and she figured out the real solution to it. So I don't know why he doesn't just trust her on this, and why he's so doubtful. Because I mean, if she says she knows something, he should just be able to trust her and take her word for it. I don't know. I understand being cautious. It's her house and everything, and you want to make sure that your house is still working and it's not gonna blow up or like fail or anything like that. But I mean, she sounds like she knows what she's doing, and it's also he also said it's her house as well. So I do really think this guy's in the wrong. Just the way he acted towards her and the way he just went about the whole situation, especially. I think he should have just trusted his girlfriend in the first place, and then if something went wrong, which I doubt, then he could have like called the HVAC tech for help, you know? But yeah, it seems like this guy has some trust issues, which is something he needs to sort out. Yeah. And it seems like most of the people in the Reddit comments do agree with me on this, especially just because it's her house and she said not to call the guy in and he still did that. And he's also expecting her to pay even though he's the one who called in the guy, which is also something else. So yeah, this guy is definitely in the wrong in this situation. Alright, here we go. Here's the next one. Am I the asshole for arguing with my girlfriend after I pressured her to do something she was uncomfortable with at a friend's house? My 25 male girlfriend, 23 female, doesn't really feel much empathy towards animals. She isn't harmful or cruel, just kind of emotionally distant. She can read social clues, but she often doesn't feel strongly about them or react much. Recently, we visited a friend, let's call him Max, after moving to the same city. He has a cat that seemed to really like my girlfriend. Other friends were there too, and everyone noticed that the cat kept going up only to her and meowing and trying to get her attention. People commented on how much the cat liked her, but she didn't even react. She just sat there looking uncomfortable while the cat kept circling around her and meowing. It wasn't disruptive in a bad way, but everyone noticed she wouldn't interact at all, and she started looking annoyed when people kept mentioning it. Eventually, she excused herself to the bathroom. Max asked if she was allergic. I said no and explained she just isn't big on animals. This kind of changed the atmosphere and seemed to bother him a bit. We left not long after. On the way home, I asked her why she couldn't just pet the cat or act normal, especially since it was obvious the cat wanted attention. At first, I wasn't angry. I was just confused. She said she didn't think it was a big deal because she didn't want to. She also said she doesn't really like Max, which neither do I, but we grew up together and I haven't seen him in a while. So I wondered if she was irritated with him and taking it out by refusing to interact with the cat, which made things awkward for everyone. She said that she wasn't, and that she just didn't feel any urge at all to pet the cat and didn't think about it socially. I was a bit tipsy and got more upset than I should have. I thought she was being dramatic on purpose, and I ended up arguing with her on the train, which got us some bad looks and made her very upset because now she thinks I pressured her to do something she didn't want to do, and she thinks I invalidated how she experiences things. I still believe that she should have just pet the cat because I believe she was well aware of what people were expecting and also considering the fact that she does usually abide to social norms, except here it seemed like she was being careless. Am I the asshole? Oh man. Uh, this guy might somehow be worse than the previous guy, which honestly, I really didn't even think that was possible, you know? For one thing, I don't know why he didn't just respect his girlfriend, because she said she just didn't want to pet the cat. That should be more than enough of an answer. You know, if someone doesn't want to do something, then they shouldn't have to. Especially something like this, something as small as, petting a cat. Like, okay, maybe people wanted her to pet the cat. Maybe it's a social norm, but she shouldn't have to pet the cat because it's at the end of the day, it's kind of just her choice, right? So I don't know why that's such a big deal to this guy. And then another thing is I don't understand why he did get so mad about this because, like I said, it's such a small thing. It's just petting a cat, you know? I don't really know why that would make people uncomfortable. Like, yeah, maybe it's cool that the cat was circling around her, but she doesn't have to pet the cat. I think I've been in situations before where an animal has like circled around someone I knew, but they didn't really like animals or they were scared, and they didn't pet the animal or touch them or anything, and no one really cared. So I don't really know what's going on in this situation, but I don't think it should be that much of a big deal. Especially the fact that this guy got so mad. I I think 100% he's the asshole in this situation, but there's actually an edit to this, so let me go ahead and read this. Edit/update. Thanks everyone for your replies. I wrote this about an hour after this mess and my girlfriend went straight to sleep. I had already clocked and I was probably TA, but I wanted to get my head straight before I apologized to her genuinely. Your replies helped me reflect, so thank you. There are some things I didn't mention which explained my reaction more. Still unreasonable, but still. My girlfriend has ASPD. As I said, she's not harmful. Not everyone with ASPD is, but she has a lack of empathy, which includes animals. She might have acted indifferent to animals before, difference being others didn't make a big deal out of it because it isn't. To me, this has never been a deal breaker because I loved her beyond everything and she's an incredibly wise and intelligent person. This time, people reacted differently, which caused me to react severely, probably as some sort of defense, except defense toward the wrong person. We were both tipsy last night, but my tipsiness caused me to dramatize the situation while she remained calm. I discussed it with her and apologized. Thanks, everyone. I'm glad that this guy ended up apologizing to her because I definitely think he was in the wrong. Also, I had to look this up, but ASPD is antisocial personality disorder, which is, I guess, someone who doesn't really care, or maybe not really care is the wrong word, but someone who doesn't have as much empathy and they're more indifferent to people. I mean, I don't think that really matters that much in this situation, but I think he did realize what was wrong. He understood that he took it out on the wrong person and that things like this have happened in the past, but in this situation it was just because other people are uncomfortable. But I mean, like he said, I don't think people being uncomfortable should matter because it's his girlfriend and he should defend her instead of defending the other people or just abiding to society's norms. But that's just what I think on that. But I'm glad they had a good resolution and everything worked out. Alright, here is the next one. Am I the asshole for selling an old gift from a parent? First time poster here. I, 22 male, am a college student that works part-time to pay my own tuition. Recently, I have been on Facebook Marketplace selling stuff that I haven't been using in years. This was to clean up my room as it's become a bit clustered as time went on. For example, I sold a massive collection of Legos that I haven't played with or built since my early teens for a good sum. This stuff included the instructions to all the sets that I believed was in there, along with the old Lego board games. However, I have a curious mom that wonders where I go when leaving the house, therefore I have to notify her what I do as soon as I get home. At the time of this writing, I would have sold an old wallet gifted to me from my parents a long time ago. Apparently, it was bought in Japan and went for a couple $100 by then. This was a bulky bison leather wallet that I used at first but opted for something more slimmer as time went on. However, this was gifted to me probably 5 or 6 years ago and it was sitting in my desk collecting dust and just sitting there until I decided to list it. One day my mom asked me what I planned to do today and I told her that I'm planning on selling the leather wallet. She then gave me a shocked expression, became angry and started to explain that she bought the wallet for a very high price just for me to recklessly sell it. I was initially blamed for not doing research about it and complained that I let go of things too easily. Then she went on to give me a lecture about keeping things close to me and it felt like she was trying to guilt trip me into giving it back to her. Even with the Legos, my mom tells me she bought all those sets just for me to give them away. I didn't have much of the balls to talk back, but I have my reasons for selling the stuff in my room. One example is that I'll eventually have to live on my own and clean out the room I currently sleep in. After what happened, I just don't know what to do with myself and I feel guilty for selling anything anymore. I need someone to help me and give me clarity. Am I the asshole or is my mom just being unreasonable? Okay, this is an interesting thing because for one, he was gifted something by someone else, but for two also, he hasn't used it in a long time. I think okay, I could definitely see both sides, but in this specific situation, I'm leaning towards this poster, the guy who's selling stuff, mostly because for one, he needs the money, so it's not like he's just selling it because he doesn't want it anymore. Like he needs the money, and it's just been laying around and he hasn't been using it. The only way I could see the mom situation in this is if it was kind of meaningful to her, like she went out of her way and got him a gift that she thought was meaningful and that she wanted him to cherish. But it kind of just sounds like, at least from the poster's point of view, it kind of just sounds like she wants it back to either sell herself or to keep, I guess, which I don't think is right. I think the only reason she could be even a little upset or anything in this situation is if she wanted him to cherish it or she just wanted him to keep it for the sake of keeping it, because so I mean some gifts you give people, they're really, in your eyes at least, they're really meaningful and you would want people to cherish it. So I can understand that point of view, but it doesn't sound like that's how the mom is in this situation. So I don't think the poster's that wrong here, especially because it just kind of sounds like the mom would end up selling it too. So At that point, I think it's okay for him to sell it. So I don't think he's the asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole for not citing a friend for treating restaurant staff rudely when they ordered a mocktail but she got a cocktail? A friend and I met for dinner and she ordered a mocktail. She later complained that it tasted like alcohol and she started feeling itchy. She can drink but sometimes might experience a rash if she's had too much. A waitress suggested that it might be the non-alcoholic substitutes mimicking the flavor and promised to check it out, but due to how busy the restaurant was, she forgot to come back. When the bill came, we saw a cocktail charge, and that's when we realized that my friend was indeed served a cocktail instead of a mocktail. The waitress apologized profusely for the mistake and adjusted the bill immediately, admitting she accidentally gaslit my friend earlier and my friend got visibly angry. When the waiter who took her mocktail order came to clear plate, she took the opportunity to confront him. As he was caught off guard, he gave a dismissive, "Oh, okay," which made her angrier. When the waitress returned, my friend meant it again in a talk-down tone, reminding her of the gaslighting earlier. The waitress's tone shifted from bubbly to sounding like she was about to cry while she listed out the mistakes on her part and apologized on behalf of her coworker as well. My friend then demanded the original waiter to apologize personally, and he did so visibly shaken and scared. The restaurant manager stepped in as well, but my friend remained rude and demanding when asked for the APV just in case she needed to see a doctor later, and her tone was all like, "Just give me a number, I need to know a number." FYI, 10 minutes after we left the restaurant, her itch went away. The manager later texted her to offer a full refund, and my friend wanted me to send the collective "we" feedback, harping about how serious the mistake was, about the itch, the poor service recovery, and the lack of concrete action and goodwill. I personally can empathize with the restaurant staff as they are human and oversights happen, and I do not condone the way she spoke to the staff as she was very rude. So I told her she should share the feedback directly herself. I also emphasized to her that I agreed it was a grave mistake on the restaurant's end, but I felt her reaction towards the staff who were clearly shaken was out of line. She doubled down, citing a friend's restaurant experience with peanut allergy to justify her behavior. Later on, she said that she no longer feels comfortable going out with me because she found it alarming that I thought she overreacted as she could have landed in a more serious condition. Okay, this is okay. This is definitely an interesting one. I feel like I say that about all of them, but this is also an interesting one. They all are. I think in most situations, I should know. Okay, I should rephrase it. In all situations, obviously, it's not good or okay to be rude to restaurant staff. They are humans too, just like you. But I do think her friend's reaction in the situation was justified, especially because she has an allergic reaction to alcohol or whatever is in the alcohol. I do think this angriness and explosion was pretty justified, mostly because like she said, it could have been something more serious. Like if if someone has an allergy, you need to be very careful because they she could have ended up in the hospital at worst, or I mean even worse than that. But something like this is not something you can just brush past, and I do think she is valid for being this angry. Because I mean it's the same thing as having any other food allergy, and if the restaurant messed up on any other food allergy, that's that would be a severe thing too. Also, I also think looking at it from another view as well, it's also really bad because if you think about it, like if someone was maybe a recovering alcoholic or someone wanted to stay off alcohol and then they ended up getting alcohol because they were served the wrong thing, you'd get really upset over that too, especially if you quit and you've been sober for a while and then like you got it against your will without even knowing, like you'd be pretty mad about that too. So I mean, even if for whatever reason, I don't think it's okay to serve alcohol to someone when they specifically choose to not have alcohol. I think I think her friend was definitely in the right to be mad. Obviously, I don't condone how she treated the staff and how rude she was, but I do see why she was so mad, and I definitely do think that her friend should have been with her in that situation. Because when something like that happens, you just want your friend to agree with you, and you want your friend to justify it because you want to know that you're right. Because I do think she's right in this situation. So I think I mean, I can see where her where this poster is coming from too, because it's not good to be rude to restaurant staff. That's true as well. But I think in this situation, she should have sided with her friend. Although I think in this situation though, no one's really an asshole. It's just they should have. Each of them could have acted a little bit better, and I definitely think the poster should have been more. Um, what's the word? More understanding of her friend because it is a big deal. All right, this is a little bit of a shorter one, but am I the asshole for charging my friend for the snacks she keeps sampling from my room? So I, 19 female, live in a dorm with two other girls. We're all pretty chill, but I'm definitely the one who keeps a mini fridge and a snack drawer stocked. I work a part-time job as a student assistant, so I pay for all of my own food. My friend, let's call her Jen, is in my room basically 24/7. She's super sweet, but she's a habit of sampling my snacks. It's never a whole bag of chips or a full soda. It's always, can I have a handful of those or can I take a sip of that, which is kind of annoying. At first I didn't really care, but it's been months and it adds up. Last week I bought a specific pack of expensive imported ramen I was been trying to test for a long time, and I came back from class to find the pack open and literally half the noodles gone. Jen was like, "Oh, I wanted to take a bite to see if I liked it, lol." I told her she needs to stop eating my stuff and if she wants snacks she needs to go to the store. She said I was being stingy because it's just a tiny bit of food. So I started a tab. Every time she took a sample, I wrote it down in my notes app with the price. Yesterday, I sent her a Venmo request for $15 with the caption snack tax. Jen totally flipped. She can't believe I'm a nickel and dime chaser over a few crackers and some noodles. My other roommate thinks it's funny but says that I should have just put a lock on my drawer instead of sending the Venmo. Am I the asshole? Okay, I definitely don't think this poster's the asshole. Because I guess, okay, if it's just like a few chips and a few small drinks here and there, maybe it's okay. I can definitely see how that would get annoying though, especially if you don't want them to be taking all those snacks and they just keep taking it. And especially if you tell them, then I understand it. But I think your breaking point is definitely the ramen, and I mean that would be my breaking point too, because if you get a special ramen imported from, I'm assuming out of the country or I mean wherever, and someone eats half of that when you've been like dying. I mean, okay, maybe dying's the wrong word, but you've been looking forward to trying it. That's definitely like crossing the boundary. So I think it's not. I don't think she's the asshole because for one, she told her she doesn't want her eating her snacks anymore, and for two, it was something that was unopened. Like who just randomly opens an unopened bag of ramen or something at someone else's place and like eats half of it? That's kind of crazy. That is, yeah, I think it's definitely justified what she did. I think her roommate, the other roommate that thought it was funny, I think she has a decent point that she should just lock her door, but it's also her room. I don't think she should have to lock stuff in her room because it is like her private space in her room. I think her roommate should respect that. So I don't think she's the asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole for stopping my wife from quitting her job? My wife, 27 female, has been really struggling with her mental health because of work. She hates her job mostly because of one manager who constantly gives her a hard time. She comes home crying at least 4 times a week. Since around December, things have gotten worse due to being understaffed and having more work piled on her. And she feels like the company doesn't listen or care at all. She's completely burnt out. She wants to quit her full-time job and just go casual at her second job. The problem is that the hours there aren't consistent since it's casual. Her plan is to leave this job and then look for another one while she's unemployed because she feels like getting out of this environment is more important than anything else right now. Money-wise, she actually earns more than I do, so it's not like she's struggling financially on her own. Still, I was worried about her quitting without another job lined up or a casual job when she picks up shifts as she goes. We're renting, paying off a car, have a cat, and we're hoping to buy a house soon. Because of that, I suggested she try to get another job first and then quit. At the time, she was okay with that. Things changed after she spoke to her brother. He got really concerned about her mental health and he told her she should quit immediately. He also said that as her husband, I should be able to provide for her financially. That honestly stressed me out, given our current expenses and future plans. This morning, my wife told me she wants to split her savings and doesn't want to have a joint account anymore. She said she's also worried about her future, especially if we have kids one day, and that if anything happens to her, it would be my fault for making her stay in this job. Now I'm second guessing myself. I was trying to be practical and think about our finances, but I'm wondering if I was wrong for advising her not to quit straight away. It also feels like her whole attitude shifted after talking to her brother. Oh wow, this husband is honestly, I honestly don't really like him that much just because of this. His wife is coming home from work, and 4 times out of the week she's crying. And there's only 5 work days in the whole week, I'm assuming. That is kind of crazy. The fact that she hates it that much and she comes home crying and she tells him about it this much and he still wants her to work is actually insane. Yeah, I think it for anyone, like no matter who you are and no matter what, I think it's more important to focus on your mental health and your well-being over working. I don't think it's ever I don't think you should ever prioritize work over your own mental health. Like, you should prioritize yourself always because that's at the end of the day, your job doesn't really care about you. So you need to look out for yourself. Your job will quit you, will not, your job will fire you in 1 second. So you need to take care of yourself rather than show your loyalty to a job or work whenever you're not treated right or where your mental health suffers. I don't know why he just didn't let her quit. For one, you should definitely be focusing on your mental health before focusing on a job. Like mental health is probably one of the most important things in life. You only live once, right? So you shouldn't live miserably, is like how I see life, you know? And then another thing is, I know this is kind of like a stigma or a social norm, I guess, but I believe in it and I'm a guy. And I think that as the man, he should be able to provide for her. If he's so worried about the finances and everything, if she quits her job, then he should be getting another job or he should be figuring out a way to get more money because he should be taking care of her, you know? At least that's how I see it. He should be the one, he should be taking care of her. He should not be allowing her to lose her sanity, like come home crying and like suffer mentally just because he wants more money. He should step up and be the man of the house and get the money or figure something out. I don't know. But no matter what, I don't think she should be staying in this job. I think I'm glad she talked to her brother and he convinced her more of, what she already thought. I think she was definitely thinking that way, but her husband convinced her otherwise because she was so quick to change her mind when her brother talked to her. And especially with the last comment that she said that it would be his fault if something happened to her. I don't know how that didn't just flip a switch because like hearing that from someone you love, like you would not want them to continue what they're doing. That's basically a sign for help. She's basically crying out for help to him and he just doesn't care, I guess. I, I really don't know how this guy doesn't see it. He needs to he needs to step up as a man. He needs to better be a better man. Coming from a man myself. And he's definitely the asshole in this situation for I mean, I don't know why he didn't maybe I understand not telling her to quit right away and asking her to stay at her job the first few times, but if it's a reoccurring problem and she keeps telling you this and she comes home crying, you know, you need to you need to let her quit. You need to prioritize her mental health over money. Because I mean, you only live once, like I said earlier. So I definitely think this guy's asshole in this situation. And I think he should just let his wife quit and he should if he needs to, he should pick up another job or something like that. Alright, that is the end of the video. Thank you to everyone who has made it this far. If you made it this far, make sure to let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my opinions. If you have any opinions on anything I've said, or if you have anything else you'd like to tell me, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'll always be reading it. And thank you for everyone for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.